So prisons in America specifically are some of the biggest, most dysfunctional businesses we have in our society. And they're business because of the cheap and free labor. When you read the 13th Amendment, that basically was the amendment that broke through slavery and freed the men and women who were enslaved at the time, there's a clause in there that allows for the re-enslavement of people in the event that they're convicted of a crime. And so in prisons throughout our country, you have people who are working for basically free. And if they're not working for free, they're working for wages that if we saw that happen in another country, we would be very critical of. When I was in prison, I worked for 17 cents an hour. That was my starting rate working in the kitchen. But there's also big corporations who invest in prison labor because they can get this labor for $1.50 an hour. And then the sad part about it is that in turn, they don't even hire these men and women when they're actually released from prison. Everything in prison has inflated costs. You know, it costs us inside prison, when I was inside, anywhere between $3 and $15 for a 15-minute phone call. We don't have to pay that out here in free society. There's a way that we can send emails to men and women inside prison, and it costs 5 cents every time we send that. Whereas out here in society, we can send emails without any charge. And so there's so many ways that the prison is exploited, the cheap labor, the cost of services and goods. And it's a model that, you know, sadly and unfortunately has affected a large segment of our society. But I think most people aren't aware of why the business models of prison exist, because most of our society has been left clueless in regards to how our judicial system works. And it's largely been to the effective campaigns that politicians have ran for years. This whole idea that one of the greatest fears you should have is crime in America. And when you're operating out of a space of fear, you're not thinking clearly. So you're not willing to examine things that are right in front of us. And so the way that the prison system has developed and evolved over the year is it originally started as government-ran, state-ran institutions, and then people started seeing investment opportunities when the states couldn't keep up with the budgetary costs of incarcerating so many people. You know, we currently have over 2 million men and women incarcerated throughout the country. And we represent 5% of the world population, yet we incarcerate 25% of the world's incarcerated people. And so at some point, states could no longer keep up with those budgets. Private investors moved in and seized an opportunity, and then they started structuring laws in a way that ensured that people continue to be incarcerated for the most frivolous things. Like, you know, 40 years ago, we didn't have as many laws on the books that we have now. And, you know, when you look at how the war on drugs itself impacted, you know, incarceration rates, you can follow, if you follow that pathway, you'll see how people seized on that opportunity to begin to invest in private businesses.